Welcome back to Newsday. The White House is criticizing the decision by the world's oil producers to cut output, saying that it's short-sighted and will hurt the global economy. The OPEC Plus group, which includes Russia and Saudi Arabia, will now drop production by 2 million barrels a day from November. Oil prices have risen slightly since Wednesday's announcement, and prices had dropped in the last 3 months over fears of a global recession.
OPEC's decision to cut production's quotas is short-sighted while the global economy is dealing with the continued negative impact of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. If there's a meaningful price impact of OPEC's decision, it will particularly be on low and middle income countries. The president's efforts have made progress bringing down U.S. gas prices since the beginning of the summer. Gas prices are down nearly $1.20, and the most common price at gas stations today is $3.29 per gallon. The president is determined to ensure that progress continues. At the president's direction, the Department of Energy will deliver another 10 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to the market next month as part of the historic 180 million barrel release the president ordered back in March. And the president will continue to direct SPR releases as necessary. He is directing the Secretary of Energy to explore any additional responsible actions to continue increasing domestic production, which is on track to break a historic record next year. And the president is once again calling on U.S. energy companies to keep bringing pump prices down by closing the historically large gap between wholesale and retail gas prices.
All right, so for more on this, we can now speak to U.S. correspondent Eric Ham, who joins us live from Washington. Good day, and let's get straight into it. A strong rebuke from the White House following the OPEC Plus decision to drastically cut oil production. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, that's right. Not only did we hear from the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, about the president's displeasure with what happened in the moves being made by OPEC Plus countries, but also now President Biden is looking at other ways to push back on OPEC Plus countries. There are many in Congress, particularly within the president's party, who believe that this move being made by OPEC Plus now is actually being done to somehow influence the midterm elections, which are only about 4 weeks away right now. And so what we're seeing now is the administration is now focusing on other ways to rebuke OPEC Plus countries. They're looking at some of the antitrust laws that they can somehow roll back. And also Congress is now aggressively looking at some of these issues. Now, remember, when President Biden actually visited Saudi Arabia and met with MBS, there was a lot of flack that the president received for that. And now there are those who believe that the president did not get the results, given that they're now withholding oil production, which is leading to the rise in gas prices, which many believe are somehow or could potentially influence the elections. And that is seen as a move that is sacrosanct, and where, quite frankly, the administration and many within the president's own party are unwilling to actually engage on this level. And so we're seeing now those who are calling for the administration to reduce the arms sales to Saudi Arabia, as well as other moves, including raising oil production in the United States as well.
Well, of course, Eric, you just let us, you told us a bit about that, but President Biden got a lot of flack for meeting the new Saudi prince a few months back. He did not get much in return, did he?
Well, no, he did not. And of course, there are those who believe that. And it's also interesting to note that this announcement was made on the 4-year anniversary of the killing of that Washington Post journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. And so while we have seen aggressive moves being made by Saudi Arabia to normalize the country and to normalize some of the behaviors and machinations by Saudi Arabia, in the United States, there are those who still see the Saudi crown prince as radioactive. And this move now by Saudi Arabia is seen also as a move, seen as a political attack by the country on the United States, given that it's taking place so close to the midterm elections. It's also important to note that the United States is actually produces more crude oil than Saudi Arabia. So the United States is an independent energy producing country. But right now, given where things stand with the situation in Ukraine, and many recognizing that it's going to be a very cold winter when many European and Western countries begin to remove themselves from Russian oil and gas, and now this move by OPEC plus countries, many see this as a move that could send the global markets and the economy into a world recession, with gas prices leading the way.
And as you've rightly said, winter is coming up. The midterm election is a month away. How damaging could rising oil prices in the U.S. be for President Biden in light of all of these developments?
Well, we just got some new polling data that shows that President Biden's approval ratings have actually been inching further and further up. Right now, he's at a place in his approval ratings where this is the highest that he has been this year. Right now, at around 44%, the highest of any president since George W. Bush at this time heading into the midterm elections. And many believe that if the president's approval ratings could have continued to rise, that would have been seen as a boon to the president's party. But now that we see gas prices beginning to inch back up, many believe that with rising gas prices and other rising prices, including food, that could be seen as detrimental to Democrats' chances of maintaining control of both chambers of Congress.
Arise U.S. correspondent Eric Ham, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. We appreciate your time and analysis as always.